Hi. Oh, this is so wonderful. This video is about menstruation and how we can kind of, you know what? I'm going to say it. It's how we can hack our menstruation to make the rest of our cycle, the rest of our period, so much more easeful and empowering, and how we can make this period of time a real point of understanding yourself, nourishing yourself, easing any aches and pains, both in your physical body and in your mind, in your thoughts. So menstruation is likened to the period of winter. It is a time when we are just kind of doing nothing. Still, that is what it is really made for. But we live in a society where that's not honored. It's not valued. So it's really natural for that to feel either completely impossible or hard, or maybe it is completely impossible, right? Maybe you live and you have a whole big rambunctious family that doesn't really make stillness in your house possible. The gifts of this time is that it is a time for your inner process. It is a time to go inwards, to slow down, to really reach the core of things. A lot of inner child work is really beautiful at this time, a lot of healing. It's really a time of like, how am I releasing, right? Because we're menstruating. Maybe you don't experience a lot of menstruation, but you're still energetically releasing, letting go of, and creating space for newness. So we're processing emotions. Once again, it's really natural to feel a lot of emotion or even anxiety around this time. And that's when you want to be cultivating the tools to manage those waves and manage those ups and downs. Because this is the time period where you are going to feel more in contact with your intuition. And it's going to, hopefully, if we use it right, if we manage this correctly or in a way that is supportive, it gives us more contact with our intuition, with spirit, with God, with divine, whatever we want to call it. And we can use that insight to then support us in our next phase. It is at this time we want to release anything that is not serving us. But at the same time, we're not making big life decisions because we are in this still, we're critical of ourselves, we're critical of others, we're kind of looking like, oh, what do I want to get rid of, right? Like, what's wrong here? Inner critic's going to come up, comparison's going to come up. So if we're not really attuned in how we manage those thoughts, they can feel really disempowering. And plus, at this time, it's really natural to experience PMS and endometriosis, and all those things can make it really worse. And I'm not against, I believe that we should use Western medical intervention for those things. And at the same time, I think that a lot of the symptoms that we have are really just our body's way of calling out and saying, hey, you need to honor this period. I've noticed that the more I honor this period and I take 1 or 2 days off to just rest, do nothing, be still, the more energy that I have during the rest of my phase. And this is true for many other women. And it is our body is asking, hey, can you just slow down for a moment? Remember, I don't work the same way that maybe men work. I'm not linear. I am cyclical. And I need us to soften and come inwards so that I can come outwards, so that I can express myself more. And this is really a time to say, like, hey, like, how do I want to show up in the next couple of weeks? How do I want to express myself in the next couple of weeks? What are things that I would like to change without being dramatic and making big changes? What are things that I would like to focus on? What seeds would I like to plant? If we're not comfortable resting and sitting in stillness and just being, just like sitting and being, then this time period can feel really uncomfortable. And we will go to all of our normal tendencies, comparison, people pleasing, whatever. Like, this is a really actual time where our capacity to set boundaries in a really loving and compassionate way will be kind of a spotlight will be shone on it. There will be a spotlight on it because we need to set boundaries at this time. We need to say no. We need to have done it actually in the luteal phase, and we really need it now. It's a time to accept and embrace the periods where you are loved and you are valuable just because, not because you're doing things. It's a time of releasing the expectations of yourself and really coming into loving simple pleasures. Physically, you are going to feel different. Your body's doing different things. And so instead of necessarily judging maybe the bloating or the pain that you're having, it's time to look at it as a gift, as the swelling that your body goes through in order to create space for new things. And I really, if you take anything away from this video, it would be to rest during this time and practice being. Practice your meditations. Practice not meditating, just kind of hanging out. Practice working less. Practice. And when we work less, we have to attend to maybe the fear or the belief that we have that we are the work that we do. We have to attend to that. We have to remember, and we have to do our inner work to remember that we're not. And we have to reprogram that. Beautiful time for inner child work, as I mentioned before. So when we do that, and when we learn to relate to this in that way, we get to have more energy in the rest of our phase. Now, some things that can come up is that because our body's asking to slow down, it's asking for support. And so even though many times it feels like it's asking to be alone, it's also natural that we feel lonely. Kind of like this weird thing, a part of us kind of like still wants to be alone, and at the same time we feel lonely. And that's normal and that's natural because, and it won't be true for everyone, but what's happened is if we go all the way back to tribes, we used to spend time in what we would call a red tent, and the women would go away and the men would kind of take care of things, like take care of the kids and things like that. And the women would go away and they would bleed and they would just be, and they would connect, and they would maybe ask questions. And we can do this at this time, like ask questions to the universe, like, hey, I have this thing, I would like to reflect on it. Do you have any guidance for me? And it was really seen as like a reverent time, not an inconvenience at all. And it was beautiful. And we have been conditioned to not see it this way. We've been conditioned to see it as an inconvenience. But when we can see it as like a time that is really important and divine and reverent and beautiful and supportive, then the challenges that come up, maybe they're not going to feel like such challenges. Maybe they're going to feel more like, little signposts. So where can I take my intuition? Where can I take this inner work? Where can I take my meditation? Where can I take this heightened capacity to manage my inner world in this period? And what do I want to plant in the future? And if you're noticing that there is a lot of resistance, which is natural to maybe doing nothing for 2 days, not even Netflix, or setting boundaries with some people in your life so that you can do this, know that you're not alone. Know that you're not alone. All of the work that I do and all of the coaching containers I have are set up so that we all learn how to further use the strength of each phase, and how to honor and put, do the work and put the mechanisms in place and put the systems and the support structure in place and all of the work that needs to be done around that so that we can honor this period. So if you're the type of person who is interested in taking action so that you can honor these phases in a more supportive way, changing things in your life so that you can really embrace each phase's strength, then you're welcome to work with me. Have a look at the link below. It will have access to my current coaching packages, and reach out, schedule a call with me. We can get to know each other. We can discuss what working together might look like, your unique challenges for each of these phases, and how I might be able to support you through them. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.